After waiting for what feels like an eternity, we finally have a trailer for the Chainsaw Man movie, and it's beautiful beyond words. We also have some massive news for JJK, MHA and a lot of other shows thanks to Jump Festa 2025. And today I'll be going over my thoughts about the new Chainsaw Man movie with its drastically different art style and direction compared to the controversial first season. Then talking about some other news from Jump Fest I found interesting. So, without wasting any more time, let's get started with the main event. Season 1 of Chainsaw Man was controversial to say the very least. Opinions were divided on the cinematic approach for the adaptation, between people saying that it was perfect without any flaws or it's basically unwatchable. And me personally, I think that people on both sides of this argument were clowns. I genuinely don't understand why it's so hard for people to acknowledge that the adaptation definitely wasn't perfect, but it still had a lot of things going for it. The cinematic approach made the emotional and somber moments of the story like episode 8 hit way harder than the manga, while the humorous aspects and Fujimoto's comedy completely fell flat in the anime. And after the shockingly low Blu-ray sales, especially for a shonen mega hit, everyone including me were waiting for years to see just how exactly Mappa is going to handle the next arc. And now we finally have our first look at the Reze movie, and it looks absolutely stunning. Tatsuya Yoshihara will be replacing Ryu Nakamura as the director for the movie and potentially the next season as well. He was the director for season 1 of Vistoria, the action director for Chainsaw Man season 1, as well as the episode director for episode 4 and 10, which were two of my favorite episodes of the season. He has a lot of experience working on all kinds of anime, ranging from action ones like Black Clover and Monster Musume for a different type of action. He's a very talented and experienced animator slash director to say the least, and the movie looks to be in very good hands judging from the trailer and the staff list. The anime doesn't have that desaturated and dull look anymore with some really punchy colors and stunning art direction. The character designs also look a lot less detailed but way more expressive, which I'm really fond of. This style of animation works way better for Fujimoto's art style and characters, at least in my opinion. For example, this one shot of Denji alone looks way more expressive than most of season 1. Please don't kill me, Nakayama bros, I'm really sorry. The action scenes also look better in this less restrictive art style, and I really appreciate the non-CGI Denji. I didn't hate the CGI of season 1 as much as most people, but I will always love 2D animation over CGI when given the choice. So yeah, it seems like all my issues with the first season will be pretty much non-existent in the movie, and I am insanely hyped for it. I've already read the manga, so I know what to expect from the story, but I'm excited for the anime onlys to experience the insanity of this arc. Moving on, let's talk about JJK. We got this beautiful key visual for the Culling Games arc, and I have to say, this is easily one of the best key visuals I've seen recently. I love the minimalistic look with only Yuji at the forefront, compared to the usual ones with character PNGs added onto a background. There isn't much news for the anime aside from the visual, and honestly I'm kind of glad to see that. I really hope the scheduling for this season is better and we don't have a repeat of the disaster that happened with season 2. I know it probably won't happen considering the industry, but I hope the staff members get proper time to work without having to sacrifice their health. If season 3 is going to release in 2025, then they likely would have announced it already, so I'm personally expecting it to air around spring or summer 2026. We do have some news for the JJK manga though. The final volume will have a 16-page epilogue focusing on 3 different characters. I'm not gonna spoil the contents of the epilogue for anime onlys, but I'll have a tweet linked in description if you wanna check it for yourselves. Moving on to MHA, the final season has been confirmed to start airing in summer 2025. This is around the same amount of production time between the previous seasons, but I'm pretty optimistic this time around because the final season should only be around 12 episodes based on the manga chapters left to adapt. The staff members are gonna have the same amount of time to work on a shorter season, so I'm honestly pretty hopeful for a solid conclusion to the series with no noticeable production issues unlike the previous seasons. But that's not the only piece of news for MHA though, because My Hero Academia Vigilantes anime has been confirmed and it's gonna start airing in April 2025. It's a spin-off manga approved by Horikoshi himself, so I'm really excited to finally see what it's about, especially because I've heard very good things about the manga. The trailer also looks pretty damn solid, and I heard it's from a different division of Studio Bones, so it shouldn't affect the production of the final season either. Moving on, we have the announcement and trailers for the second seasons of Ranma and Dandadan. Really excited for both of these, especially after that foul cliffhanger of Dandadan. We also have a key visual for the Egghead arc of One Piece. It's also gonna air on a different time slot after returning in April, so we can expect to see way less censorship. And even though it's sad to see it happen, Frankie's original voice actor Kazuki Yao will be replaced by Subaru Kimura. Feel free to pause and look through some of his roles on the screen. And finally, the most interesting thing is Oda's message, which pretty much confirms that the One Piece anime is gonna be seasonal after its return. So I think we can finally say goodbye to the anime's horrendous pacing for this final saga of the series. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about in this video. All the trailers will be linked in description, so feel free to check them out. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Let me know what was your favorite piece of news from Jump Festa, and consider subscribing for more anime content.